Hey everyone, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. Jordan, we're back for the Champions League. It's Thanksgiving week. We've got Barcelona and Chelsea. We've got Arsenal and Bayern Munich. What could be better than some UCL soccer, some best bets, and ripping some wine and turkey, Jordan? If you like what you hear, stick around, baby. Here we go.
Martial, Herrera.
That's right. We are back for the Champions League, Jord. And if you heard my intro and you're thinking, what the hell is Thanksgiving? You're probably somewhere not in the United States. Jordan, how you doing on this fine week? I feel like I'm on vacation already, baby.
Yeah, I could tell, Dev. I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought you said what could be better than ripping some wine in Turkey. I thought you were talking about the Galatasaray match or something. It was completely off topic there. But yes. Thanksgiving is where you were at, although these games come before that.
Yeah, but it's the week, Thanksgiving week. It's an overall vibe.
Sure. Well, listen, we have things to be thankful for. We had a slightly winning show over the weekend. Barely.
Slightly winning.
But it is a winner nonetheless. And finally, Dev, you returned a positive state. Look at that. Dev goes 3-3 for plus 0.69 units, his favorite number. And I go 2-3 for minus 0.33 units. So if you're going to lose, at least it's less than a half a unit. But yeah, technically a winning show, and we'll take it.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's right, Jord. I could turn back some profit, which is why I threw on the AC Milan kit for this, because they cashed for me on the plus a half a goal. And I think you had inter-team total, so
I did.
That was a loss. That was a tough one because I think you had a missed penalty, at least 2 post hits when I was watching that one. Classic Italian, am I right?
Yeah, definitely, Dev. Christian Pulisic sticking the nail in the coffin there in a match that, if they play that 5 times, they probably lose it 4 of them. But that's the game of soccer. Soccer going soccer sometimes. I'm glad one of us was able to turn a profit on that match. Dev, we got 10 matches we're covering here tonight. We got plays all over the place. Some of the games you're on, some of them I'm on, some of them we're both on. We got a lot to get to, so maybe we dive in, huh?
Wow. Do you want to take over as host? I mean, geez, George, you're pushing me along, but you're right. Let's get into it because we got a lot to cover here. It gets started on Tuesday with Chelsea Football Club, the world champions here against Barcelona. This one sees Barcelona as road underdogs of 1/4 of a goal. The total is set at 3.5. It's very high. Both teams to score yes, listed as minus 275. You know what the bookies think. There's going to be goals in this one. And what do you think, Jord, as Barcelona travels to Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, Dev, I do think there will be goals in this one, probably from both teams, although I famously took Barcelona after having 10 straight both teams to score yes matches, took them to have both teams to score in the Athletic Bilbao match and promptly ruined their streak. So while I'm tempted to say everyone scores against Barcelona, that's not true anymore.
Not when you need them to.
No. I think at Stamford Bridge, though, Chelsea should be good for at least a goal against this suicide high line that Barcelona play. Speaking of which, I was looking at, some prop bets for this one, and Chelsea to have over 3.5 offsides is where it's lined at, right? Coming in minus 110. If Chelsea get caught offside 4 times, Barcelona tend to have the most offside calls in the Big 5 leagues, which is some interesting data. Chelsea are averaging 2 offsides per match. So you put them together, can they get 4? I think maybe, but that's not what my play is going to be with this one.
Oh,
Dev.
Good, Jordan. I thought you were diving into the offsides market there.
No,
there's
just
so
throwing
much
that
meat
out
on
there.
this bone.
People looking to have some prop action. Interesting wrinkle there. because Chelsea do have guys like Estevao and João Pedro that try to get in behind. And yeah, we know how that line is. So could be fun. Anyway, Dev, I'm going with Barcelona to do the scoring here. I'm not messing with the Chelsea part of this. I think the thing with Barcelona is, regardless of whether they concede or not, they gonna hang some on you. And this Chelsea team, while they can be tight defensively, generally they're not. I think they're super open, and I don't think they're gonna be able to contain this Barcelona attack. I think they'll get some joy on the other end, but I'm not messing with that, Dev. I don't care about a side in this one. I'm just going to take that Barcelona team total there. Barcelona to get 2, -120. I think that's fair enough. I could see this going a number of ways, like a 3-2, a 4-3 kind of thing. But I think Barcelona's the better attack. I'm going to back them. I'm going to stick with them. Could have played the total where it's at, but something drew me to the team total for Barca.
Jord, I was right there with you. I was looking at that number. I was looking at a number of plays for this one because there's so many different ways you can go here. But for me, it's all the Barcelona side. Yes, Chelsea, very good, but who have they beaten this year? You look at their list of fixtures, where's the really signature impressive win? They haven't done it. The best teams that they've beaten is Liverpool, probably. But when you're looking at Liverpool now, know that they haven't been very effective. They're sort of having a weird season. We'll get to them later. I thought it was really interesting. Chelsea, who was rotated on the weekend in the Burnley match, and that says the most to me because this is what I think Maresca will do. I think he'll start Pedro Neto and Garnacho or Estevao, possibly both of them, because they're all the really speedy guys. They know to get behind this high line, the suicidal high line, as you called it, of Hansi Flick's Barcelona, you're going to need speed. Those guys get the start because Neto played on the weekend, but Garnacho and Estevao didn't feature at all. And another giant miss for Chelsea in that game was Moises Caicedo. And he's the key to the whole match here because he needs to have one of the best games he's had, or I think Chelsea's going to get embarrassed. I think this could get really ugly for him because that midfield of Barcelona is going to be ticky-tacking all over, and you need somebody like Caicedo who can keep up with them, break up that play. So that's my theory of how the game might go. I think Barcelona are too experienced. Lewandowski's back. They're getting healthier. Rafinha featured on the weekend, though he didn't start. They're starting to get healthy at the right time. And you look at the prices for this team. This is one of the best teams in Europe. If you look at expected goal differential across the big 5 European leagues, you got Barcelona in 6th. But when you turn it over to the expected goals side, they are 3rd, only behind Bayern Munich. So I do think all the values on Barca here. And so I was looking at the quarter of a goal on the Asian handicap. So if it is a draw, you get a little bit of a cash. That team total you mentioned, great way to go. But I looked at Barcelona at plus 180 on the money line. When are you going to get a price like that? When are you ever going to see that price again for Barcelona? So that's what I went with, Jordan. Just going with the money line. Don't complicate it. Plus 180. Love that play. I looked at some other ways you could do a draw no bet. Get some plus money on that. I think it was about even for the pick or the draw no bet. You could do a hand ringer Jordan play. Take Barcelona plus a half a goal parlayed with like over 2.5 goals in the match. That's plus 125. Looked at that as well. But in the end, just going with the money line, Jord. Keep it simple.
Fair enough, Dev. Your mustache is drawing a lot of attention in the chat here. We got Steven saying holiday stash. Yes, indeed. We've got Jack in the chat saying, what about this new mustachioed look, Devin? Punishment for some bad bets? Well, you guys should have seen him before when he was wearing his glasses. He looked like Groucho Marx.
Incredible. Yeah, Steven follows up with looking like he could sell used cars. In many ways, that's what we're doing here. We're trying to sell you guys some used car bets. Yeah, look, it's Movember. It's November, Mo with the mustache. So yeah, I figured I
did that once.
Yeah, getting in the celebratory mood. But Jordan, let's move on. We got 9 more matches to cover. Another one on Tuesday. It's Manchester City against Bayer Leverkusen. This one sees Manchester City as home favorites of 2 full goals, -2, and the total is set at 3.5. Jordan, the +2 for Leverkusen, I mean, it just feels like a big number, but Man City coming off that loss against Newcastle at the weekend, they're going to be looking for revenge. So what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, Dev, I don't know about that +2 for Leverkusen. I think this could be one-way traffic. We saw what this Man City team did to Dortmund, and I think it could be similar here. That was a 4-1 for anyone who doesn't remember. And yeah, it's just Man City at the Emirates, totally a different beast than on the road at St. James's Park. But also, Man City were all over Newcastle at the beginning of that match. They get a couple of those goals to go in. Don't get me wrong, Newcastle had some good looks too. But the way Man City started, I think they do that at home here against this Leverkusen side, who are vulnerable. They can concede and do concede. And that's against teams that are nowhere near the level of this Man City attack. I think if Man City start quickly, as I expect them to do, and they bring their finishing boots this time, this could get ugly quickly. I've cut the game in half because of that, because I do think this City team does get a little bit leggy, and they lack some of the physicality. We saw that against Newcastle, right? Newcastle, very robust, very physical team. And Pep's bringing on guys like Savinho, Reinders. Who else did he bring on? Oscar Bob. These are not physical specimens, right? And they weren't replacing physical specimens either. Rodri missing. They just don't have that like robustness. And I think that's what happened to them. So I'm cutting this game in half, even though I don't think they need that physicality against this Leverkusen team the same way they did against New. Cutting it in half here, taking the first half over 1.5 goals at even money.
Jordan, I'm telling you, we're putting 2 units on that play. First half game total over 1.5. I like it because this, you're right, this is going to be an absolute slaughter. Leverkusen just not on the level. They haven't even been good in the Bundesliga this year. The remnants of the Xabi Alonso era just holding on, trying to do something. They're going to get crushed. I would worry about like adding both teams to score here because I don't know that Leverkusen get on the board. They certainly could. The numbers for this game are crazy, right? -2 spread for City, too big for me to play. Team total over 2.5 is -138 for them to score 3 goals. So you got to play that to team total to score 4. I think they could score like 5 or 6. I think this could be like really, but why? You don't need to go that far with it. I like the way you're taking this, George. Just taking the regular total, the game total over 3.5 -105, not bad. But we've seen times when Pep will get his teams ahead 2 or 3 goals, 2 or 3-0, and it's kind of like just possess the ball and let's just waste out the clock. So that would be my concern about that pretty high game total. So I love what you've done here, cutting the game in half. And I'm just going to jump on it with you, Jord. Erling Haaland to score in this game is -185.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
And it's, probably worth taking.
He scored in every single Champions League game so far this season. He did not score against Newcastle, so I guess he's due now. The guy averages over 1 goal per game. So you can take that, but then you got to start parlaying stuff. You can add just City on the money line with Haaland to score, and it's still like -160. It's not great. So you got to have Haaland to score twice became a playable number. It was like +160. That's tough. It's tough for anybody to score twice. So
yeah,
but you can have some fun here. Use this as a parlay piece. Find some different pieces you want to attach. Maybe lower the numbers a little bit. Build your parlays for this one because could get out of hand. But let's move on, Jordan. We got more matches to cover here. On Tuesday, we've got Bodo Glimt against Juventus. This one sees Bodo Glimt as home dogs of 1/4 of a goal, and the total is set at a flat 3. Bodo have been pretty interesting Norwegian side when they play at home. I think they definitely have somewhat of an advantage. And Juventus up and down this season, I don't know how to peg them. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, up and down's a good way to put it, Dev. Juventus unbeaten in 5. Okay. No wins in 3. So they are back to what they've been under different managers, under Allegri, for instance, the draw specialists. And they, for me, I mean, that's not where Juventus want to be, right? It's great you're not getting beaten, but 1-1 draws with like everyone in the league is not the recipe for success for the old lady. That's not what they want. And let me tell you what else they don't want is to be traveling to the Arctic Circle to take on this Bodo Glimt team who are very good at home and are deep into their season. The Norwegian season obviously kicking off at a different time of year because of the aforementioned Arctic Circle. They're deep into it. They've played over 25 games already this season. Now, you could use that against them, but they're still picking up W's in their domestic league. They seem fit and firing. Look, they haven't had it great so far in the Champions League to start. Not a lot of impressive scalps, but they're at home here against a team. This is more for me. Spoiler alert, I'm backing Bodo to get a result here. This is more about fading Juventus and the form that they're in right now and the mentality that they have. I think that they're kind of soft and traveling to difficult conditions against a team that in Bodo that's going to be completely up for taking a scalp from one of the perennial juggernauts of Europe. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster if you're Juventus for me. So this is a fade Juventus play, Dev. I'm going with Bodo double chance. You see they're lined at +1/4 at home here. Home dogs, you know we love those on this show. But I'm giving them a full half a goal. I'm taking the double chance, Bodo Glimt or draw, and under 5.5 goals. Look, this is a Juventus match. I don't see this getting to 6. So that's coming in at -125. The hand ringer has a play on the board.
Jordan, I'm surprised you didn't just take the 1/4 goal there for Bodo. It's sitting at even money. Even money, it's your favorite price.
But the draw is such a possibility. I wanted a full cash.
Understood. Yeah, Bodo, I think I like the way you're looking at this. At home have been quite good. I liked it to stay off of this one. I don't have a read on Juventus. Spalletti's come in. He's trying to figure out what the identity of the team is. Bodo scares me, but I'm too scared to back him. So I wish you luck, Jord. Let's go, Bodo. Let's move on to another Italian team. It's a Napoli hosting Qarabag from Azerbaijan. This one sees Naples as home favorites of a full goal and a half, -1.5. The total is set at a flat 3. Jord, Napoli on the weekend played Atalanta. They finally started their front three of David Neres, Noah Lang, and who was playing through the center? I wish I knew. But Noah Lang and David Neres have been criminally underutilized this season by Conte. What else do we know? So him getting those guys in the lineup, I think, is good for Napoli's chances to score more goals, to be more threatening going forward. Oh, Højlund's the 9 that they play there. I like that front three. I think they get on the score sheets, particularly at home. But let's not forget this Qarabag team scores in every game. Qarabag's a problem. Yes, they're better when they're at Azerbaijan. But you're telling me you can get both teams to score here at even money? It's too good of a price. Yes, Napoli, they're an Italian team. They're at home. Defensive solidity, sure. Qarabag, this is their favorite thing. This is their every Champions League game is their Super Bowl. They've gotten on the board in every single Champions League game so far this season. Famously drawing Chelsea the last time out in a 2-2. I don't even need them to get a result. I just want them to get on the board. You can play their regular team total just to score a goal, -125. Look, Napoli, mixed bag of results defensively, I would say. Up and down somewhat this season. But I do think just the occasion, Napoli could score like 4 or 5 and absolutely crush this game. But can Qarabag just get on the score sheet? That's what I'm looking for. Both teams score, yes. At even money, Jord, I like that price.
Yeah, that's fair enough, Dev. I was just going to ask you, doesn't Conte put those guys out there ahead of a game? Like he does that as like a rotation thing. I seem to remember
could be
before the last game, he threw Lang and Neres out there and then promptly removed them again for the next match.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't need to worry about them scoring, regardless of who's out there, probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone scores, whether it's McTominay with some header or like bicycle kick. But again, Qarabag has scored in every game. They're not a bad team. We've seen them playing in Europe now for several seasons. Not the Champions League. They've been in Europa League and the Conference League, working their way up. And I think they'll be ready for this. I think they can get on the score sheet.
And they've got a hell of a badge.
Hell of a badge. Yeah, and Conte, this guy can't coach in multiple competitions. Look for that this weekend. Look for the Napoli fade in Serie A this weekend as well, because he can't coach 2 competitions. Most overrated manager around. Anyway, let's move on, Jord. We've got a final matchup on Tuesday. It's Olympique Club de Marseille against Newcastle United. This one sees the game lined as a pick'em. It's a toss-up, right? A little bit of juice on Newcastle's side of this, so they're slight favorites here, but it is lined as a pick. Total set at 2.75. Jordan, Newcastle, famous win, the first in Eddie Howe's lifetime. Their manager against Manchester City over the weekend. Marseille taking care of business on Friday, scoring a bunch of goals in their domestic league match. So what do you think about this matchup here with Newcastle traveling to Marseille?
Yeah, Dev, Eddie Howe getting his first win against Manchester City in 19 attempts, naturally, because we had Man City to win. So we affect outcomes, okay? We know how to pick them. Dev, you talk about hand ringers. The bookies, the market is hand ringing here, right? We got the pick 'em. It's lined at the 2.75, too shy to go to 3, don't want to give them the 2.5. And for that reason, Dev, I stayed off of this one. What did you see?
George, it's all about goals. Goals. You look at these two teams. Marseille have seen over 2.5 goals, 8 of their last 10 matchups across all comps. Newcastle over 2.5 goals, 6 of their last 8 across all comps. These two teams have never met in their histories. So I don't know what that means, but Marseille have been scoring goals for fun. They've got some really nice pieces. Igor Paixão, this Brazilian, he's come through. He's putting together. He's really fun to watch. Mason Greenwood, the abuser, he's been rehabilitated and he's getting on the score sheet. Our boy Tim Weah, the American, he's out there doing things. Newcastle have been absolute dog shit on the road this season. They have lost. They have not won a game on the road. They have 3 straight losses on the road. Excuse me. They did win against Union Saint-Gilloise in the Champions League.
Yeah, they've been good in the Champions League. They've been doing well.
They've been doing well, particularly on the road. But it's been documented how they've had road struggles. And
in the Prem,
coming off
definitely.
of a massive win against Manchester City, now they got to travel to Marseille, tough place to go. I want to get Marseille on side here. This is another one I looked at a bunch of different plays. You could play both teams to score, and over 2.5 is plus 105. I think that's a great shout. I liked Marseille as a pick. I mentioned Newcastle's road form this season, coming off that big game. Can Marseille get up for this one? I mentioned this on the last show. Newcastle do not have the depth to keep the high intensity that they play at going through these multiple competitions, especially on the road. It's easier when you're at home. You can feed off the crowd. Now they're going to Marseille. So I want to get Marseille on side. I looked at the draw no bet market, but there's every chance this thing could be a draw with some goals. So I ended up going with the Marseille team total, Jordan, over 1.5 goals for the home team here, plus 137. I mean, that's just great. Great price for a home team to score twice. You think they get one because they're at home? Can they get 2? Newcastle's tired. Do you play both team totals here? I like all those. I just like goals in any direction. My official play is going to be that Marseille team total.
Yeah, Dev, look, my terrible team scored 3 against Newcastle at home. West Ham United. So why can't Marseille get 2 at plus 137? Are you kidding me? Price is too big. Dev, in the chat, we're still getting talk about your mustache. No one's talking plays. No one's telling us what they're betting in these games or talking soccer. They're just mesmerized by your facial hair. ML Kid saying Devin with the 70s, 80s porn star stash. Indeed. Used cars,
hey, look.
porn. He does it all.
It's been fun. Well, we still got more matchups, guys. I know we want to talk about the mustache, and I'd be happy to host a separate show where I just discuss men's facial hair grooming. But let's move on to our Wednesday matchups. And for me, it's the best match on the whole board. This is an absolute banger. It's the Arsenal against Bayern Munich. This one sees the Arsenal as home favorites of a quarter of a goal, minus 0.25. The total is set at 2.75. Jord, these two teams, 1 and 2 in the Champions League. They both have perfect records. They've won every single game on offer. This is going to be huge, although, as we know with the Champions League format, doesn't really matter, doesn't really mean anything. But you just tell that to these players because it's going to mean everything to them. What do you think about this matchup, Jord? This will be absolutely on the main screen, the big screen, when we're watching this one on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Deb. You said it, right? These two are top of the table, right? Perfect records, and that kind of means that this game doesn't matter. They can both totally rotate if they want to. It just doesn't matter. And that's
George, don't tell the people. We want them to keep watching. You know,
right? It is one of the problems with the new format. But as you say, right, there is a chance that these teams just use it as a measuring stick, right? How do we stack up against some of the other, best teams in Europe, apart from the teams we play all the time in our domestic leagues? You hope so, right? Maybe they see it as like a free hit because it doesn't really matter that much. They go out there and they just have fun with it and try to, get bragging rights. We hope that's the case. That's what we want to see. That's what everyone's going to tune in for. But I do fear that, like, when we get hyped for some of these games, especially when there's nothing really on the line, it almost gets like a friendly vibe, and we just kind of see it a boring stalemate. That is in play. Because of that, Dev, the hand ringer is going to make another appearance here. And
excellent.
I took both teams to score as the first piece of my play. And I know Arsenal are stout defensively. They keep clean sheets. We've talked about it ad nauseum on this show so far this season. But it has been breached of late, right? We had Sunderland put 2 past him. Now that was on the road. And then we had Richarlison scoring a worldie in the North London derby with one of Spurs' only 2 shots in the entire match. So talk about fluky. But Bayern Munich, I mean, this is arguably the best attack in Europe. They should be able to get one here. Gabriel still expected to miss for Arsenal. I mean, not expected to. He will miss this match. And, while they're still an organized unit without him, he's arguably the best center back in the world right now. So you got to miss him, right? And listen, Harry Kane, Michael Olise, they don't care who's back there. They don't need second stringers back there, but they'll certainly take it. And Luis Diaz will miss this one for Bayern, but look, it don't matter. They gon' score. They gon' score. And Arsenal will absolutely score at home here. Their attack is just purring right now. So both teams to score, yes, but I'm tacking on under 5.5 goals just to bring in the possibility of the cagey stalemate where this ends 1-1, and we were all kind of disappointed that it didn't reach the heights we were hoping.
Wow. Well, thank you for dampening the excitement, Jord.
You bet.
I think that is probably true to some degree. But you also bring up that the game doesn't particularly matter. There's goal differential doesn't matter. These two teams are 1 and 2. They're going to get through the top 8. They're going to get that first round bye. So let's go out there and have a go. I think on the Bayern side of this, it means more. If you're Arsenal, you're just coming off the weekend against your biggest rivals, even though they absolutely annihilated. They dismantled Tottenham. Yeah, Steven in the chat says, wet blanket vibes from Jordan. Yeah, you're telling me. Get excited about this thing. But Arsenal have a little bit of a look-ahead spot, Jordan. They got to travel. Well, actually, is that home or away? But they're playing Chelsea on the weekend. Chelsea, sneaky number 2 in the table in the EPL. So
Very
probably
sneaky.
the bigger match for them at Stamford Bridge is on the weekend. Does Arteta look toward that match and make some rotation here? This game doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you're in front of your home fans. You want to win. You want to have a good performance. On the Bayern side of this, all you need to know is that Harry Kane is playing. He still hates this fucking club. He hates the Arsenal. He's going to be desperate to score. You can look at him to score. I think it's like plus 150, plus 160 range. I can see him getting on the score sheet. They are going to be missing. Bayern's going to be missing Luis Diaz for his red card from the last Champions League match. You mentioned Gabriel being out for Arsenal. So there's some moving pieces here. This kid, Leonard Carl, their like little teenager for Bayern Munich, got the start on the weekend. He's great. He's fun to watch. He's like a tiny little mustachioed, speaking of mustaches, German guy with incredible touch and control in the box. Let's get to the plays though, Jordan. This is what the people want. I wouldn't put anyone off of goals here. I understand it's the Arsenal. They have not conceded a single goal in the Champions League. That's going to come to an end on Wednesday, I believe. Both teams to score over 2.5 goals in the match, minus 105. Jordan went the other way. Both teams to score in an under 5.5. But for me, I look at these numbers of Bayern Munich. Bayern's getting their underdogs. You're giving a quarter of a goal here. Boy, that's tempting. Cash half on a draw. I love seeing that, minus 109. You could play it out to the draw no bet market, plus 125 for Bayern Munich to win, push out on a draw. I love that. The money line, Jordan, plus 225. It says plus 220 on our screen. I saw plus 225. Money coming in on Arsenal since we made this card. Bayern, at the end of the day, I'm going to echo what Bob D in the chat says here, and he took the words right out of my mouth. Bayern has scored 2+ goals in 18 straight games, and you're giving me their team total to score twice, plus 150. You will never see that number again for Bayern Munich. The rest of the year, you will never see that number again. This is the opportunity to take it. Same with the money line, plus 220, a 2-1 underdog for Bayern Munich. That's a crazy number to be getting. You won't see that again either. So taking them as a dog, taking their goals tally. Yes, Arsenal are the best defensive team in the world. Can Bayern get 2 past them? They've scored 2 or more in every single game they play. I'm taking them to do it, Jordan, plus 150. The price is too good. I got to do it.
It's a big price, Devin. Let's not forget these two met in the quarterfinals 2 Champions Leagues ago. It was 2-2 at the Arsenal, and it was 1-0 at Bayern. Bayern advancing. So I guess you're hoping for that 2-2 here. Same thing.
Hoping for the 2-2. Anything. I don't really care if they win or not. Either
and the
way,
2-2
this will be
cash my play as well. So
there you go. This will be a really fun matchup either way. Jordan, let's move on. We've got 3 more matches for you guys. We're going to try to get through these quick. Actually, we're okay on time, but let's move. It's Wednesday. Atletico Madrid against Internazionale Milano. This one sees Atletico as home favorites of a quarter of a goal. Total set at 2.5. Jordan, we talked about Inter and AC Milan in the Derby de Madonnina over the weekend. Losing that one, coming up short, even though they had their chances. Atletico Madrid, quietly 5 wins in a row here, putting together some results. What do you think about this matchup with Inter traveling to Atletico?
Well, Dev, I'll tell you exactly what I thought about this when I was looking at the card and was doing my handicapping. I said, Atletico Madrid hosting Inter. Fuck
unders.
Fuck you. What do you... No chance. What do you got, Dev?
Oh, Jordan, I love it. A lot of these matches have a really similar dynamic. There's a team I really like. They're on the road, and they're getting a quarter of a goal. Saw it with Barcelona at Chelsea, with Bayern Munich at Arsenal, and now you're seeing with Inter Milan at Atletico. Atletico have been hot. We mentioned 5 straight wins across all comps. But Inter Milan, look, they were finalists of this competition last year. Probably should have won Serie A last year. They're in the running to win Serie A again. I still think they're one of the best teams in Europe, and you're giving me a quarter of a goal. It's just too much. So, Jordan, I'm taking them plus a quarter of a goal on the Asian handicap. I looked at the team total, the Inter team total. That's another one with those three underdogs I mentioned, those three road dogs, Bayern, Barcelona, Inter. All three of their team totals just to score twice are crazy plus money. Inter to score twice here, plus 150. You absolutely could do that. We've seen Atletico games flying over this season. We've seen the same in Inter, over 2.5 goals in 5 of the last 7 matches. Of course, one of those was not this weekend, Jordan. I'm sorry for you because he needed them. He needed them to score. But look, you could go either way. I think there's every chance this is a draw. This could be a 0-0. This could be a 1-1. So I want a little bit of that draw possibility on my side. So I'm going to go with that plus a quarter of a goal. Cash half of your bet if it is a draw. If Inter wins, you cash the whole thing. I do still think they're the better team. Coming off a loss against their arch rivals, I think they'll be motivated, and I think they could get a result here. So that's what I'm going with, Jordan.
Yes, Deb. The Madonna did not smile upon me with fortune on that day. But
well, you're praying to the Madonna. It's the Madonnina.
You have to
it's
say
it's the little Madonna,
not the big Madonna. Like a prayer. Come on. The Atleti, though, very scary at home. So I wish you luck. I think you can get that draw. I would be surprised if Inter pulled off the win here. But listen, stranger things have happened, baby. It's the Champions League.
Telling me. Yeah, I'm looking at Atleti's home record, and it is pretty good. But let's move on, Jordan. We've got a couple more matches for you guys. Let's take a look at Liverpool against PSV Eindhoven. This one sees Liverpool as home favorites of 1.5 goals, minus 1.5. The total is set at 3.5. Jordan, Liverpool struggling big time. Sean Dyche, manager of Nottingham Forest, pulling off the masterclass at Anfield over the weekend, getting a 3-0 victory, and the sky is falling on Liverpool. And they're going to have a familiar foe here in PSV Eindhoven, traveling to Anfield here. Arne Slot used to manage at Feyenoord, would play against PSV often, so there'll be some familiarity there. But what do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Well, yeah, Liverpool in the bottom half of the table after 12 games played. Crazy. 11th place, I think they're in. Shocking stuff, especially given their start where it looked like they were up for it. They are not up for it. And I'm satisfied because I've believed for a while that Arne Slot is a bald fraud. And those chickens are
not
coming
just
home
a fraud.
to roost. A bald fraud.
A bald fraud.
But a bald non-fraud who's also Dutch and coaches PSV right now, Peter Bodo. Look, he only knows one way to play, Dev. And yeah, Slot knows Peter Bosch and his PSV team, but Bosch knows Slot as well. And Slot is lacking really any identity with the way he sets up his team. I don't know what their identity is. I don't know what they do well. There are holes all over the place in attack and in defense. And I think this one could be the most exciting match of the week. I think this is end to end. I think we see goals everywhere. And I think it starts early. I'm taking a big swing in this one here, Dev. This is probably this is my biggest swing of the week. And I'm doing it for the match that I'm hoping will be the most entertaining. I'm going for both teams to score in this match, Dev, but in the first half, coming in at a robust plus 260. I just think this thing opens up, and it opens up quickly. Look, Liverpool, they're probably going to start hot, trying to right the wrongs of what happened at Anfield and that embarrassing loss that you mentioned, the 3-0 to Forest. Going to get a response here. They're going to come out hot. They're probably going to score first. But PSV don't care. They're just going to keep doing what they do, and they will get in. They will get looks. This Liverpool team are vulnerable. I don't think anyone is really afraid of going to Anfield right now. And I think PSV see this as a free hit. They're plus 1.5 goal underdogs on the spread. They're not expecting to come and win this, but I think they know they can cause them problems, and I think they can as well. So both teams to score in the first half at plus 260 is my play for this one.
I love the big swing, Jord. Look, I stayed off this. I don't know what Liverpool is. I'm with you. You broke it down perfectly. What do they do well? Can tell you. PSV, complete Jekyll and Hyde team in this competition. There'll be games they show up, they can't score. Then there'll be games that they destroy Napoli like 5-1. I don't know who. I can't get a hold on them against another team. Liverpool reeling. They're at Anfield again. How do they not win this game? Goal and a half favorites, but that's too much. I can't play it. I ended up staying off it, Jordan, but I love that you're taking the swing there.
Big swing. Come on.
Let's go. We got one more matchup for you guys. If you're sticking with us, you've made it this far, we really appreciate it. If you give us a little like, give us a subscribe, we'll get more plays to you. You can check us out. You can follow us on the Discord server. The link is in the description of this podcast or episode, wherever you're watching or listening. We do appreciate it, you guys. If you give us a review on a podcast app, whatever you're listening to, we will read it out on the show. And most of all, it'll give you good karma for your bets. What could be more important than that? Because we're going to need it. We're going to need it, Jordan. As we move into our last matchup, it's Paris Saint-Germain against Tottenham Hotspur. This one sees PSG as home favorites of a full goal and a half, minus 1.5. The total is set at 3.25. Jordan, these two teams met in the UEFA Super Cup over the summer. The Champions League winner against the Europa League winner, and we saw a 2-2 that went to penalties with Paris eking it out and getting that trophy in the very end. But Jordan, what do you think about this matchup with Spurs traveling to Paris?
Yes, if I remember that Super Cup, people thinking that was like Spurs announcing themselves, like, hey, look what they're doing to the champions of Europe here. Thomas Frank is here. They're going to cook. And they followed it up with the opening day win against Man City. And it's all been downhill from there. I haven't watched a lot of full Spurs matches this season. I didn't see the North London Derby. I watched the highlights package. And it was one-way traffic. I mean, we talked about it already. 2 shots for Spurs in that game. The way they were set up for that match was just appalling, gross. And I imagine they're going to set up similarly here, because that's what Thomas Frank does. It's what he did at Brentford. It's what he's doing now at Spurs. They set up pragmatically, but they don't have the passion. They don't have the horses that he had at Brentford. Scrappy underdog guys that were like willing to dig in for the shirt and like play for the manager. Got a lot of prima donnas out there for Spurs who just aren't doing the work. And look, PSG were tired in that Super Cup. They were coming off the Club World Cup. They were coming off winning the Champions League. I wouldn't judge them on that. I think we're going to see tables turned here, Dev. And I think PSG lay the smackdown here. The only other time I've watched Spurs in their entirety this season was the Chelsea game. And they were woeful in that game. I couldn't believe how bad they looked. And I think there's every chance that just Paris are just way too good for them. The midfield battle is not a contest. And the pacey attack of PSG, I just think it's going to be one-way traffic. This is going to be a boat race situation. I looked at PSG win to 0 because I'm not sure Spurs score in this one. They have no threat. They have no creativity. They have no one that can play the striker position. Richarlison's not going to score a half-field banger in this one. I did consider that. You
never know.
But I elected to go with PSG on the spread where it's line, minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap at minus 103. Because, look, maybe Spurs do score from a set piece. Romero gets a header or something. That could happen, and then I'd be fuming because PSG probably will put 3 or 4 past them. So I'm just going to take the handicap there, Dev. Don't complicate it. Take it where the market's giving it to you. PSG minus 1.5 at home, minus 103.
Yeah, Jordan, I stayed off this and I'm ruining it now. I'm looking at these numbers, listening to you talk about this. Paris is going to absolutely annihilate Spurs here. I would be looking at that team total over 2.5 for Paris, plus 110 for them to score thrice. I could absolutely see it. I mean, Tottenham just leaking goals everywhere. They were just completely pinned back by Arsenal, outcoached, outperformed. I guess the difference in that match is you look at it and you go, there's not a single player in a combined 11 I would take from Spurs. Every single position is better for Arsenal, or was on the day.
That might be true here too, actually.
That might be true here. The thing that made me stay off of it is because PSG has some injuries, right? Dembele, probably doubtful for this. Desiree Doué's out for an extended period. Ashraf Hakimi's out for an extended period. So I just don't know who they're going to be showing up with. But at home against the Spurs side, who also has their injuries, that's been a big problem. You mentioned they like announced themselves in the last matchup between these two over the summer, and it just hasn't come through. They've lost Solanke, Madison. They've lost a lot of their creative outlets here. So this will be one-way traffic, and I would be looking at that PSG team total. I'm not going to add it because every time I add a play during the podcast, it loses. So that's going to do it for us, you guys. That's going to do it for all 10 matches we covered for you. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Steven in the chat says Tottenham is hot garbage. Whether the garbage is hot or cold, it's still garbage, isn't it? And yeah, can't argue with that. But Jordan, before we get out of here, there's something we got to do.
We do indeed, Dev, because it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Thank you, Mr. Bookie Scary Man. We're moving on to the official plays here, Jordan. I'm going to read mine out for you. I'm going with Barcelona on the money line here, plus 180. When will you ever get that price on Barcelona again? Manchester City against Leverkusen. First half, over 1.5 goals in the match at even money. Jordan, stole that one from you. Thank you. Napoli against Qarabag. Both teams to score, yes, also at even money. Marseille against Newcastle. Marseille team total over 1.5 at plus 137. Bayern Munich against the Arsenal. Bayern team total over 1.5 at plus 150. And finally, for me, Internazionale Milano against Atletico Madrid, plus 1/4 goal on the Asian handicap at minus 115. What do you got, Jordan?
Dev, I'm taking Bodo Glimt on the double chance with under 5.5 goals tacked on. I think they get a result against Juventus in what does not get to 6 goals, in a game that does not get to 6 goals. Minus 125 for that play. Barcelona team total over 1.5, minus 120. Wasn't as bullish as you. Love that money line price you're getting, though. As you said, we both are on Man City, Leverkusen first half over 1.5 at even money. I'm taking Slavia Praha. Double chance and over 1.5 goals coming in at plus 105. Something tells me we didn't cover that match. Arsenal, Bayern, both teams to score and under 5.5 goals at minus 125. Liverpool and PSV, both teams to score in the first half at a robust plus 260. And finally, PSG minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap at minus 103.
George, you are absolutely correct. I'm so sorry about that. We missed this one on the screen now. It's Slavia Praha against Athletic Club Bilbao.
We don't need to do all this. We wrap the show up. It's good.
We're just gonna wrap
Bilbao's a fucking dumpster fire. They're trash. Slavia's a tough place to go. I think they can get a result.
Yes, the listeners will figure it out, or they'll go into the Discord where you guys can join us and talk about all your soccer betting needs. A lot of sharp listeners in there give out some amazing plays. If you guys could leave us a like, a subscribe, a 5-star review on your podcast app, wherever you're watching or listening, we appreciate it greatly. Jord, until next time, any last words for the people?
Dev, I think you summed it all up perfectly there. It's what you do as the host. You do it well. In between selling used cars and starring in porn, you host the hell out of this show, baby. Love to see it. Guys, thanks for tuning in live with us. Thanks to everyone checking this out when it's not live later on. And bet responsibly. Good luck with all of your bets this Champions League midweek. And we'll be back again later in the week, Dev, we're going to be together for the holiday. So we might do some kind of like live quick thing or something, because we're going to be drunk
we're doing something
and busy. So
all true.
Yeah,
we'll definitely be having more plays for you guys. But until then, let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Martial.